Meeting called to order at 7 p.m. President Bardwaj.
Present.
Vice President Odira. Present. Director of Administrative Affairs Patak. Director of Financial Affairs Salim.
Present.
Director of Government and Legal Affairs Gurley.
Excuse.
Director of Student Relations Williams.
Present.
Director of Foreign Outreach Upmore. Director of Technology and Web Development Jory.
Present.
Director of Student Organization Partnership Board Hoadley.
Present.
Vice Chair of Senate King.
Present.
Senator Wong.
Present.
Senator Carter.
Present.
Senator Weismiller.
Present.
Senator Todd.
Present.
Senator Medina.
Present.
Senator McNaughton.
Present.
I entertain a motion to approve the agenda as presented.
I move to approve the agenda as presented.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Are there any opposed? Are there any abstentions? The agenda is approved as presented. I entertain a motion to approve the previous meeting minutes.
Motion to approve the previous meeting minutes.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Are there any opposed? Are there any abstentions? The previous meeting minutes are approved as presented. We will now be moving on to director reports. President Bardwaj.
Good evening, everybody. The revised license agreement for commute has been finalized. It has been answered for the first round of questions from the Office of General Counsel. And now we're just waiting for the final confirmation before the agreement is signed in form. And then we're hoping to have the launch in spring semester for the scooters. Helia event thanking the alumni took place today on third floor USEN. There were a lot of students who attended this event, and it was pretty successful. So thank you all for attending. I've been working on the revision of the charters for the funding board as well as student organization partnership board. I've been working with Director Growley as well to have March 14th as the final concrete deadline to submit these revisions to the OGC. I will be planning to give the president's report to the Student Senate upcoming month. I was able to speak to the Council of Deans today regarding all the updates and potential events that we might be having in future. As of right now, they will be tentative. Please be aware that Chancellor has sent out a statement regarding the COVID-19 coronavirus actions, and also Information and Technology Services has sent an email to all students regarding the remote resource guide that should be available to everybody. In lieu of the coronavirus and all the actions that are being taken place, I would like to read a letter to the student body. Dear students, on behalf of student government and its members, I want the student body to know that we will continue to serve you amid coronavirus COVID-19 efforts. I urge everyone to follow the instructions available on the University of Michigan website at Public Affairs and also Center for Disease and Control. Washing your hands for 20 seconds, avoiding contact with someone who coughs, sneezes, or shaking hands directly, and gathering at larger events should be avoided. University of Michigan has offered resources to the students that are available online. Student government will continue to work on student concerns through alternative means as developments continue. If you have any concerns, please reach out to our email or through online medium via social media as well. We will keep you updated through emails and social media. Your input and voice is most valuable, and we will continue to get that taken into consideration as well. I wish everyone safe and a healthy semester. With that, I yield.
Thank you. So in terms of my report, I was able to work closely with Director Jory and Director Hoadley, and we currently have FireFit up and running. I was also able to work with Directors Jolene on getting all the prizes for Fire Pit, which will be going on still. We will be probably announcing our winners online and probably mailing out the prizes to them instead of doing it in person as we had previously anticipated. Um, yes, and I also plan to meet with Gary Ashley and the director Upmore to speak about our Flint First initiative. And with that, I yield. Director of Administrative Affairs, Patak.
Hello everyone. So I will be taking up the task of completing the affordability guide, and I will be keep you updated with that as I work. As of right now, the Administrative Services Assessment Committee meeting will be taking place 17th March, next Tuesday, from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. And with that, I yield.
Thank you. Director of Financial Affairs, Celine.
Hello, everyone. So the budget sheet has been completed. I have some of the balances. As of the 24th of February, the funding board's balance was at $19,490. Senate account is at $13,800. And the admin account as on February 26th was at $13,296. Please note that these are running balances and they're subject to change. And with that, I do.
Thank you. Director of Student Relations, Williams.
So just to recap from the Food and Housing Forum, it was a success. Thank you for all for coming. 58 non-student government individuals attended the Food and Housing Forum. 25 questions were left remaining in the student suggestions or student concerns box. 15 were from Picasso, were for Picasso, 5 were for housing, and 5 were just like general campus concerns. Those individuals have been emailed with the respective concerns, and I'm waiting for their responses. And I yield.
Thank you. Director of Board Outreach, Upmore.
All right, so the Students Initiating Committee will be meeting in March in Ann Arbor as of now. The DEI committee meeting was canceled over spring break, and the next one is scheduled for Friday, March 20th. The Qualtrics issue has been resolved for the Student Legal Services Survey, and now is waiting on approval from the executive board, and then it will be live. And then I had a meeting today with Gary Ashley, and we discussed how to move forward with the census event that was planned for later this March. And with that, I yield.
Thank you. Director of Technology and Web Development, Jory.
Hi. So this last week, I made a QR code for our student government email. We're gonna start putting out some posters in some areas, so hopefully students can take a picture of the QR code and then you can email us directly. I've also posted for Fire Pit. Fire Pit, the deadline to submit videos are on 11:59 p.m. March 30th, and you can find out where to upload those, where the rules are and everything on our social media and on our website. I've also made a bill which will be presented today, and I met with the marketing club today regarding our student government seal, and they've agreed to take it on, and I'll update everyone as I get updated. And with that, I yield.
Thank you. Director of Student Organization and Partnership, Board of Hoadley.
Hello, there are currently 2 VSO applications whose student rosters are being checked out by SIL. Once they get back to me, if all of the students on there are eligible to be a part of the organization, I will be reaching out to the presidents. That board will continue having paper meetings to approve the applications, even though classes are canceled.
Thank you. Vice Chair of Senate King.
Hello, everyone. Last time we meet, the 26th of February, we were supposed to go to Carmainsworth High School. Their school was closed due to the weather conditions. We wasn't able to go, but the plan is to reschedule. I'm working with the advisor and the president there, waiting on to have a rescheduled date. And that's my plan for now, is to get that going. Even though we are closing for the school time, we still can go to the high school. With that, I yield.
Thank you. We will now be moving on to advisory reports.
Good evening, everybody.
been an interesting day here at the University of Michigan-Flint. I want to thank everybody who's been very patient as the university has rolled out its initial response and remind students that things can change and may change pretty rapidly. And so never before has it been more important to check your email regularly to stay in touch with what next decisions may be made. And if you have questions, we may not have answers, but continue to ask questions as we move through this situation together collectively. And I encourage students who are watching, and I encourage student government to go out and find ways to connect with students who are out there so that we can make sure that their needs are being met in a remote situation. With that,
Thank you. We will now be moving on to senator reports. Senator Wong.
Good evening, everyone. So this past week I was working on my health screening fair practice event. With the current situation, I think it's best to cancel the event due to there being no students on campus. Over the next few days, I'll be reaching out to community members that were going to participate in the event and let them know the situation. And then I am going to figure out what I can do instead for the student body. And with that, I yield.
Thank you. Senator Weissmuller.
Hello, everyone. I have been working on campus games, but it is no longer going to happen at this moment. Other than that, I will still be on campus Monday through Fridays as of now, unless, again, things change. My Senate office at the Student Venture Center at the Pavilion. I'm available pretty much every morning and all day on Fridays. And with that, I yield.
Thank you. Senator Medina.
So due to safety concerns, all future events for Hall Council are canceled, as well as Hall Council meetings being canceled as well. All concerns due to policy, you can still come to me and I'll see if I can still do what I can. Besides that, since there are no more classes, I have the opportunity to join more committees, do more work through student government. And with that, I yield.
Thank you. Senator Todd.
Good evening, student government. Well, this week I met with GLA, also met with Foreign Outreach. GLA, we're working on revising the Unified Student Code. We should be wrapped up by Saturday with all of the corrections and submit that. Sadly, our March 12th event was canceled, and so with that, I yield.
Thank you. Senator Carter.
Okay. For the past couple of weeks, I've been negotiating with the company Quick Boost over the price of charging stations here on campus, and we haven't reached an initial price agreement, and I will be presenting a bill later to allocate funds to the purchase of said charging stations. I yield.
Thank you. Senator McNaughton.
Hi, everyone. As stated earlier, the health screenings caucus at this point does not look like it's going forward. So there's that. I will still be on campus as much as possible, hopefully Monday through Friday. So if you happen to be on campus, you have concerns, I'll still be here to listen to them. That I yield.
Thank you. As there is no old business, we will now be moving on to new business. I now yield the floor to the Director Jory and Senator Carter to present Senator Bill 2020-006.
Okay, for Bill 2020-06. We have it mandates that the student government will set aside a maximum of $4,000 for purchase of wall-mounted charging stations from the company Quick Boost. We have already this will be enough to purchase 5 to 6 charging stations, for which preliminary locations for them have been determined around campus, but are subject to change, and some still need to be picked up. You.
Is there anything you want to add, Director Jory?
No.
Okay. Are there any questions, comments, and concerns from our audience or the members of student government? Yes.
What was the name of the company that you're purchasing?
Quick Boost, spelled KWIKBOOST.
Are there any other questions, comments, or concerns? As there are no more questions, comments, and concerns, the floor is now closed for questions, comments, and concerns. Thank you. As I had forgotten before, we are going back to director committee reports. Are there any director committee reports? Yes.
For the funding board, there's an audit that's underway right now. We're basically just trying to ensure that funds from the funding board were used for what they were allocated. And we're following up to make sure that we have receipts, invoices. The deadline for BSOs to send in their receipts and invoices is now moved to next Tuesday, so the coming Tuesday. And hopefully we should have everything in by then. Aside from that, the funding board had an open meeting today. They made a few allocations. The first one was to the pre-PA club for $304. The second one was to the one university, which was for $75. There was judo club, which received $859. And then the public health student organization, which received $378.98. I do want to add that some of the events that these organizations had are canceled already. Some could be canceled in the future. So what we're going to do is we're going to reach out to these organizations and ensure that their events are still happening before the transfers are made. And hopefully by the end of the week, you should have a clearer picture of what's happening. And with that, I yield.
Thank you. Are there any other director committee reports? Yes.
So me and Senator Ramirez have met in the end of February to go over the concerns that were left for the Food and Housing Forum and separate which ones were food related and housing related to have more easy communication when it comes to reporting jobs. And I yield.
Thank you. Are there any other director committee reports? As there are no other director committee reports, the floor is now closed for director committee reports. The floor is open now for university committee reports. Are there any university committee reports? Yes.
As of right now, we've done an update from parking committee, and we're still scheduled to meet at the end of the month of the Friday, the 27th. With that, I yield.
The Academic Affairs Advisory Committee met today. One of the charge that was given to the committee from the Faculty Governing Council is the approval for the proposal of Chancellor's School of Technology. So the committee will be working in upcoming few weeks on approving the policies, procedures, as well as curriculum for the academic unit. The committee wanted to stress, and especially Interim Provost Moreland, that this is more regarding the academic unit of School of Technology rather than the infrastructure right now. We will also be having Steve Turner come and talk regarding the School of Technology and how we can most benefit students and their input on as the process goes forward with revising the policy as well. Some of the key things that AAAC worked on from last semester was finally having a syllabus policy that was brought in as concerns by many students to student government as well as me personally. So finally, we will have the Academic Affairs Advisory working on a tentative policy on how syllabus would be dictated among different department chairs and all the information, whether regarding technology, softwares used, or disability and counseling services must be mentioned in every syllabus that is given out to the student body. I urge the committee to look more into the softwares that are used by students. There are many softwares like Mastering Physics, Chemistry, Cengage, that are used throughout different units in different schools and departments. And currently, there is not really any policy in place. Um, the interim provost did want me to mention that if students are buying these softwares with their books, these can go towards their financial aid, so that they can get deductions on their tax returns. However, we are still looking into options as to what university could do to make these softwares as an affordable uh, solution, and if not, then if there has to be any policy in place. I also asked the committee to have a final answer on the course evaluations that we have had since last semester. Um, since the university has taken a stance on the COVID-19 and upcoming developments, our committee will be meeting weekly online, and we are wanting to have Nick Gaspar from the Office of Extended Learning to come and give us more answers before we finally move to a conclusion on this. Um, Also, something that student government members may need to keep in mind is that academic affairs advisory is consisted of uh, members at large from the faculty as well as different groups of the faculty units, and many of them might be moving away from the committee. So the committee will be looking into a restructure, and a chair will be needed by May 1st, as we will move into a transition of student government as well. With that, I yield.
Thank you. Are there any other university committee reports? Yes.
I met with, and I apologize, I forget the committee's name, yesterday with the food den, about the food den. Um, we talked a lot about the needs of more volunteers to be a part of the volunteering for the food den that's on the third floor of the youth center. They talked about how they're potentially thinking of opening up internship opportunities to the business department, maybe for marketing interns or business interns. Because right now the food den, they usually pick juniors or seniors in the social work department, and they pick like a intern opportunity, and a lot of times maybe they'll pick the food den, but it's completely optional. And we raised in committee, I personally raised the concern of like, what happens when somebody doesn't pick the food den? Then who's going to be the intern and whose priority is going to be there? And then we're going to be left with additional issues. So that was a lot of the conversation. Also, we talked on the student government's part. They're waiting for the proposal of space from SG. And I yield.
Thank you. Are there any other university committee reports? As there are no other university committee reports, the floor is now closed for university committee reports. We will now be moving back to new business. I now yield the floor again to Senator Carter and Director Jory to present Senate Bill 2020-007.
No.
I'm sorry, just give me 1 second.
Yeah,
Yeah, this is the campus.
no, mine is supposed to be 10. I thought I changed it because the doc says 10, but it should say, the SB should be 7.
It's probably number 10.
Just entertain a friendly amendment.
Or is it still those things?
No. You just read. I apologize for that error. I actually yield the floor to Director Jory and Vice Chair Senate King to present Senate Bill 2020-007.
Sorry for the formatting. Mine does not set it like that on my computer. If you pull it up, I can read it off here.
That's one.
There. All right. So this is a bill to release funding for student government to purchase various charters for the library to loan to students. Be it enacted by the Senate student body assembled. Short title. This will just be cited as charter bill. And student government will give the William Thompson Library a variety. Okay. Yeah. So I was originally shooting for 10 laptop, tablet, and smartphone chargers, but due to how expensive they were and how many different types they were, I was able to narrow it down to a few. So we're going to change the wording instead of 10, a variety. For monetary support, the Senate shall budget a maximum of $500 to buy chargers for the library. All money not used be returned to the Senate account. And then I also have the cost of all the chargers, which is not yet on this bill. I wanted to get Type C chargers for smartphones, and they're approximately $12 each. Apple chargers, specific type of Apple MacBook charger is $127. Another type is $79, and the third type is another $79. And these should cover all chargers that go back, all the MacBooks back to 2009. So they go back pretty far. And then this also includes a universal charger that will be able to charge IBM, Dell, Toshiba, Compaq, Asus, Acer, HP, and Sony laptops, and that is $35. And these ones listed have a total of $343. So that is the bill.
Are there any questions, comments, and concerns from the members of student government or the student body at large? Yes.
What was the total number of chargers being bought?
The total number currently, this is 6 chargers that I've just listed.
Are there any other questions, comments, and concerns? As there are no more questions, comments, and concerns, the floor is now closed for questions, comments, and concerns. Thank you. Before I open the floor to any questions, comments, and concerns from the members of student government, are there any questions, comments, or concerns from our audience? Yes.
Director Holey, which VSO applications were applied for? What are the?
I don't have them written down right now, but I can get them to you after.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have a couple questions for Director Snyder. Have you heard any more information regarding not just because we have students that come to campus just for academics and then leave? What about students that like work on campus, stay on campus for long periods of time? People that have events planned. Are a lot of these events still planned? Or people that work here still able to come here?
The university is still open. Student employees should follow up with their direct supervisors if they have questions about work shifts. As of right now, I would check campus calendar to see what events are being canceled by departments or student organizations. Technology is probably the best way to stay informed.
Are there any other questions, comments, and concerns from the members of our audience or our members of student government? Yes.
I have a few comments. I do want to mention that our event with open forum with the chancellor on March 16th will be canceled. However, we are not just canceling this event and abandoning the opportunity for students to ask questions to the chancellor. So there should be an email going out from the student government to entire student body about how students will be able to talk to the chancellor or present them any question, comment, concerns, and the student government will still be working on that. Another thing I do want to mention is for the presidential debate, the Climate Action Advisory Committee has been meeting through different campuses, representatives with different campuses. As of right now, I will be sending an update regarding that, our next meeting, as there are more developments with coronavirus and COVID-19. Um, I also urge our students to check information on student government website, as we are going to explore alternative means to keep student government going on. We are wanting to make sure that our members in student government are safe as well. However, we're not wanting to stop the work and being the voice of the students, as we have been elected for the entirety of the term. So we are going to be exploring into the alternate options, but until further communication, I would urge for any comments or questions, please reach out to us. I yield.
Thank you. Are there any other questions, comments, and concerns? As there are no, yes.
Dr. Schneider, with your insight, can it get better or is it just going to get worse from here? If it does, is it possible chance that this decision could be reversed in a few weeks or is it permanent?
I'm not sure any of us really want to look much past where we are. Every day it changes, and so we could wake up tomorrow and the number of cases in Michigan would be dramatically different. And so I think the university is making its decisions based on the information it has at the time.
Okay, thank you.
Are there any other questions? Yes.
So the Senate, the student government election will still happen. Voting will be online, and so we will be sending out information about how to learn more about candidates remotely. Candidates will get information about how to promote yourselves remotely, and how we will continue to move forward with selecting next year's administration. Director applications will be open soon, and we'll send that out electronically, and those will be due right around April 3rd-ish. The hope is that once we have a new president and vice president elected, they can begin interviews for director positions so we can transition everybody in the first part of the spring term. So, questions about the election? Question for me or you just comment?
A question about the
Okay.
okay, so I'm a little disconnected
Mhm.
because I'm graduating, so I haven't really paid attention. When when is the individuals who become elected? When are they supposed to? When is that supposed to be official?
So the election, I can't remember, 23rd and 24th, 24th and 25th. The election then usually takes 48 hours to certify, so we're hoping to send that announcement by that Friday, but that following Monday, the latest, which is the 30th of March.
Okay, thank you.
No, please.
Do you know if graduation is going to be affected at all by shutting down?
I know what you know.
I just wanted to let all student government members know that we will be having closed meeting right after this. So thank you so much.
Yes.
Can I ask you real quick?
Yes.
Can you send, is that copy of your email, can you send that to me? Or your letter that you referenced?
Yes, definitely. It will also be sent out with the minutes, student government.
I'd also like to add really quick to what President Bardwaj said earlier. ITS did send an email to everybody, and this is, it does have information about remotely accessing your classroom. So they sent us a remote resource guide. And they encourage everyone to set it up sooner rather than later. Just make sure you get it set up, there's no issues, and you can get back to your schoolwork without failure. If you have any questions or anything, I'm available to help, or you can contact us at flint.sil.sg@umich. And we'll also have this information on our social media and our website.
Yes.
I just want to make an announcement to those who are listening, or potentially might hear, that the Model UN team, despite what is going on, will still be organizing and will still be being put together throughout spring and summer. So, just want to make that clear.
Thank you. Yes.
Yes, I just wanted to add, it's a little bit different, but to do with ITS, they just added Adobe to, so students now can go And so if you do Photoshop, Illustrator, any of those things, you get it free now as a student. It's pretty easy to do yourself. You can just log on, do it right offline, or you can go to ITS and they'll help you. I just think that's a really good thing to have because it's like $120 a year, and so it's a great thing. With that, I yield.
Thank you. Are there any other questions, comments, and concerns? As there are no other questions, yes.
Oh, I'm sorry. I would like to say that to the student body, basically to send us emails. Please send us emails about concerns over the course of the period that we won't see each other as often. Send us emails so we, as student government, can really make sure your concerns is heard, and we can try to do something to. Student government will always be working for you. So please send us emails so we are better in communication with you all, and we can be able to serve you. Thank you. That I yield.
Are there any other questions, comments, and concerns?
While we're here, make sure you vote and make sure you fill out the census, students.
Yeah, I agree.
Are there any other questions, comments, and concerns? As there are no other questions, comments, and concerns, meeting adjourned at 7:36.
You're not in the rush to do nothing. School, you don't got school tomorrow. So he don't got nothing for real to do, like you said. He don't.
Sorry for ambusting you.
There ain't nothing to do tomorrow.
Decided on the consent meeting, it was fair.
Not for you. You'll find out. You're gonna find out tomorrow. This stuff start canceling already.
He said that you're still